Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. Deena C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.
Have you ever believed an AI myth that kept you from taking the next step? Well, that's why I'm here. I am the Chief Mythbuster, the newest member of Dr. Deena's AI leadership team. And every Friday, I'll be right here to cut through the myths that make AI feel scary, confusing, or completely out of reach. Last week, I talked about the decision you didn't stress test. This week is about what often gets missed before that decision ever reaches the table. Most workforce data is already telling a story. The difference is whether HRBPs are positioned to hear it and translate it before decisions are made. This is where tools like Microsoft Copilot can help, not by making decisions.
So much. Well, job success, it all starts with the networking. If you expect to have success, you have to do it, because doing it well and doing it positively could lead to great potential. On the flip side, it can not only cost you opportunities, but also your reputation. Joining us this morning to teach us how to network like a beast is Dr. Deena, a business coach with DC Brown International. Good morning, Dr.
Good morning.
Deena.
Good morning. Great to be here.
This is a fascinating topic.
Yes.
Let's dive right into it. How do we network effectively?
You must do three things. You must prepare, you must practice, and you must be purposeful about your networking. And by purposeful, when you go to a room and go to an event, you're not there to try to tackle everybody in the room. If you've already planned and prepared and practiced, you realize there might be three key people I need to know, because you have to decide, are you trying to grow your business? Are you trying to grow yourself? Or you may be trying to make some spiritual connections and find a mentor. So if you know that, you know who to connect to.
And so what is the biggest mistake you see networkers make?
Okay.
All right, everyone. Today is a very special day. Dr. Brown is in the green room right now, and I'm going to be bringing her in just a moment. But before we get started, we do a moment of gratitude. This is actually the fourth live show we've recorded today for 2026. I can't believe it. As you already know, today I'm grateful for the new year. Today is January 2nd, 2026, but also for the list of illustrious guests like Dr. Brown, who are going to be on the show and really sharing their knowledge and the leadership principles they have learned throughout their career to enrich our life. I'm so grateful for that. So let me see if I can properly introduce the doctor here. I'm going to try my best. So Dr. Brown is a globally respected executive leader, scholar, practitioner, and human-centered leadership architect. I really think she's like a Renaissance woman. I wonder if there's anything that she hasn't accomplished yet. Right, from classroom to DoD environment to corporate boardroom and global stages, her work centers on one essential truth: leaders must lead with clarity, with confidence, and humanity, especially under pressure. So, here on the Leadership and Success podcast, please help me welcome the one and only Dr. Deena C. Brown. Dr. Brown, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Oh my goodness. I can't believe you went that far back into the archives. I was like, no, what in the world? You went back to news clips and I used to expert on NBC and CBS and talk about strategic networking and all that kind of cool stuff. Yeah.
Yes, you've been everywhere. You've affected everything. You've got a long career that's impacted really a lot, which is quite amazing. Maybe we're gonna unpack some of that on the show today. Maybe to get started, Dr. Brown, what is one thing you are grateful for today?
Today, I am grateful just for beingness.
Hmm.
And the fact that I woke up this morning with all of my limbs, my
Yes.
five senses working, my mind active and alert,
Hmm.
when so many others have not even made it this far and some that have been close to me. So, truly and honestly, and this is not cliche, I am grateful for breath
Yes.
in the right
Yes.
now moment.
Wow, that is so powerful. So simple, but so powerful. Because without it, you have absolutely
Yeah.
nothing.
Nothing else matters. Everything
That's
else is secondary and tertiary. Mhm.
wow. Today being the second day of 2026. Just think about that. Now, for me personally, most people may not know, but when I was a kid, I was sick a lot, and my doctors and my primary doctor was a military doctor. Maybe part of the reason why I wanted to join the US military. But anyway, they told my parents I wouldn't live beyond 17 years old. I'm in my mid 40s now, and every day I have is really a day of grace, and I'm very, very grateful for it, just to brave. So thanks so much for sharing that. Is there something about you, Dr. Brown, that most people may not know that you're willing to share?
Most people don't realize I'm heavily introverted, actually.
Really?
I call myself an ambivert. Is that
Okay.
'cause I'm out, I'm on stages, and I'm going. So I
Yes.
am happy to stand in the space, and I own every room I walk
Wow.
into. But my happy space, like I can go home on Friday and not leave the house until Monday and not speak to a single person and be in a
Really?
space. Because when I am out, I give off someone, a great friend of mine told me I give off sparks. And
Hmm.
so out, I draw a lot of attention, and that takes a lot of energy. And so
Wow.
you're always pouring out. You've got to be able to
Yes.
not only just fill your own cup, but brew your own kettle so
Hmm.
that you're pour. So for me, is that I really thrive in those quiet, still spaces.
Mm.
Um, and I spend probably about 80 to 90% of my time alone when I'm not at work. And
Wow.
it's such a great space to be. But most people think, oh no, you're an extrovert because
Yeah.
you talk to people and you do all this stuff. I said, no, two things can be true. And
True.
so I am actually more of an ambivert. I'm an introvert with extrovert tendencies.
Wow. That is really fascinating. But I think it's important as a leader to refill your tank. That is so critical.
Mhm,
Wow. So you've often described your leadership philosophy as stillness meets
mhm,
strategy. And I
mhm.
think you trademarked that if I'm not mistaken.
I yes.
Wow, that's amazing, amazing. So, what does that phrase mean to you personally, and how did it emerge through your lived leadership journey?
It has emerged because we feel that in order to execute, you have to be going. But if you don't have that moment, that pause, that sense of stillness to
Mhm.
truly recalibrate, this is just not something that's just nice to say. It's actually brain science. So I'm a bit of a neuro nerd. When we think
Mhm.
about what happens and what I've seen not only for myself, but other leaders, I feel like I'm gonna get nerdy here for a moment, that our frontal cortex gets inflamed.
Mhm.
And so when it does, our ability, our thinking brain starts to go haywire, and then it'll go back to that basal ganglia, right? It'll go back to those habits, those trends of things that either A, we learned growing up, or that's stored in that crypt keeper that's in the back. And so you'll go and actually activate habits and behaviors that are
Mm.
not necessarily conducive to the situation right now. So
Yes.
until you can get still and be
Mm.
quiet, then your strategy for your right now moment and execution can
Yes.
never do itself.
Wow.
So that's where that stillness is a part of the strategy. You've got to have, there's power in the pause.
Hmm. That is really insightful because I think right now, today, 2025, there is so much distraction out there, so many signals coming at you from every angle. So, how do you find the moment to just be quiet and strategize and really work on what you desire and not be forced to do whatever the advertiser, whatever everybody else wants, and not work on your own goals and strategy? Wow. So was there maybe a specific season in your career when you realized that strategy without stillness was no longer sustainable?
Oh gosh, my whole entire life. To be honest with you, everything I learned about being an intentional, impactful leader, I learned from being Xavier's mom.
Mm,
And Xavier is my son, who's now like 23. And I say that because I didn't have the words and the language that I have now to trademark it, but it's
yes.
always been an integral aspect of how I showed up when I was a school
Mm,
principal, right? When I became a mom. And I have one um, visual that comes back to me whenever I feel like I'm starting to go into too many directions. I recall I happened to be in Korea at the time, South Korea, and my son might have been like 11, 12 or so. And I came home from the grocery store and I am barking orders and things. I'm because my mind is going. I'm still trying to decompress from work. I'm like, put this away. And I'm just barking and just going. And he was trying to do all the different things that I needed
mm,
him to do. And my mind goes really fast. Not everybody's mind works that same way in their
yeah.
actions. So once things calmed down and then I kind of sat for a minute and I looked around, I went. The milk was in the laundry room, detergent was in the refrigerator. Things were all over the place because I was barking orders so quickly and
Mm,
fast. I wasn't taking the time to make sure that he even understood, but he was just trying to move.
yes.
And so as I was going, put that there, go there, he was just going. And that moment, number one, I had a mom moment and I almost fell apart because I thought, what am I doing? What am I
Mm,
doing? I am not even mentally present.
yes. Wow.
I'm not even focused on what's happening. I am still thinking about what was going on the day at work. I'm still thinking about what I need to do when I get home. I'm thinking about the
Yes.
groceries to put away. And so I was going so many directions that I realized that I went nowhere and everything
Mm,
was a mess. And so from that moment, we talk about that defining moment, I made a commitment to myself
yes.
that I will start to be still and take a beat and take a breath and
Mm,
be present in the moment that I'm in. And I use tools. I'm a strategist, so
yes.
and I use things like Pareto. So I'll say, okay, I got 10, 20 minutes. I'm focusing only on this. And
Wow.
I realized when I began to do that and have that laser focus, I
Mhm.
got so much more done.
Wow.
So many more things that were aligned and so many things more things were accurate when I did that. So
Yes.
stillness and strategy, just two
Man, that
pieces.
is really powerful. It's really simple, but very insightful and could really be impactful. No, literally change someone's life. No, a lot of his leadership lesson and strategies that we talk about on the show. I feel like no, it's not rocket science. It's not really something that nobody cannot do. But I also have a problem with some people. Sometimes they listen like, "Oh, I already know that." But like, no, you don't know it because if you did know it, you would be doing it. So because you don't do it, you don't know it. So you
Well,
really
well,
need to practice,
they
right?
can know it and they opt not to do it and be intentional.
Yes.
So we didn't talk about this, and I don't think I sent this for you, and you didn't bring this up. I wrote a theorem. It's called the shift theorem of aligned movement.
Mhm.
And when I don't know if you recall, a couple years ago, Dave Ramsey came to speak to us at the John Maxwell team. And
Mhm.
he was there and he was showing the momentum theorem, right? And I
Yes.
was sitting there and I was thinking about my life and I was jotting down some notes. And I'm looking at his theorem and I realized, wait a minute. People always ask me, how do I go from where I am to where I desire to be? They always
Mm.
would ask that. How did you do that? How did you shift from K-12 to go to corporate? How did you move past divorce?
Yes.
How did you move past trauma? How did you do all these things? And I
Mhm.
realized that I had 5 core principles that I
Hmm.
used to move. And so I sat there on a napkin in that room. I don't know if you were there that year.
Yes.
I sat there and I jotted down the 5 core, and then I wrote it into a theorem. And then I took it back and I worked with a mathematician, I worked with a neuroscientist, I worked with who was it? A numerologist.
Hmm.
And I said, does this work? And it did. And so here's what the
Wow.
theorem is, the shift theorem is. And the very core part of the shift theorem is the S, which is self-awareness.
Mm.
Self-awareness. Where are you right now in this moment? And whether you're talking about business or whether you're talking about life, if you do not know where your position and coordinates are, you don't know where you're going.
Mm. Wow.
Period. Right? And so the other parts of that, and so I anchor a lot of like the things that you see and you hear me sharing about and the work that I do now in that very first element, that very first factor, which
Yes.
is the S. And then the H is harmony, because once you know who you are, you now can begin
Hmm.
to identify. It's not about balance, it's about harmony. Because
Yes.
harmony says, here's how I have to maneuver and shift things in order to, again, deal with what's happening now.
Mm.
Not who I used
Powerful.
to be. But if you don't know what to add. And so once you know what to
Yes.
add, I is about being intentional. Because now
Mm.
I know, who do I need to meet? Who do I need to connect to? What do I need to add? What do I need to remove? What do I need to start?
Yes.
What do I need to stop? And then we get to the F. And the F is about faith. And it's not the faith about which religion or doctrine you practice. It's about a
Mm.
knowing that you know. And to know, you have to have knowledge that you can actually see. And that's that movement that's there.
Wow.
Faith, right? And
Yes.
so once you have a faith, the T is about what was it? Tenacity.
Mm.
T is an exponent, is an exponent. And so there's a two, there's an exponent on the T. And the T has to be greater than one for you to move forward.
Wow.
And if it's not greater than one, and if it's at zero, you will stay where you are. And if it's negative, you're going to move backwards. And guess what? That
Wow.
movement is not, whether you go forward or backwards, is depending on which season and cycle you're in.
Yes.
It's self-awareness
Hmm.
applied
Powerful.
by harmony
Yes.
over intentional action multiplied by exponential tenacious faith. I'll send you what
Hmm.
there. I trademarked that too. The theorem is, and so everything you hear and you've seen, whether you went back, if you again, the
Yes.
clip you showed when I talked about networking,
Mm-hmm.
that theorem is in there.
Yes. Net.
Intentionality, awareness. Who do you know?
Yes.
Then I
Yes.
talk about leadership. So everything that I've
Yes.
done and that I do, it's an integral part of my I
Hmm.
am.
That's really powerful because even in the clip, I didn't show it, but you show the example of someone having a bunch of business cards, giving them around, but then
Yes, yes,
really
yes.
not doing anything, not having any impact, right? Intentionality. Wow, that's powerful. So, how did your early leadership experiences, particularly in global and high pressure environment, shape how you think about clarity and decision making today?
Whew. Made lots and lots of fox pose. I don't call them faux pas. I call them fox pose because they were pretty wily and they were really, they're really learning opportunities because everything I've been through is compost for my growth.
Hmm.
So I don't take it as a loss. I take it as a learning, right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, right? Sound familiar?
Yes.
And when I think about the times I was moving too fast, I was not paying attention so that I could not give the right attention and intentionality to what I was doing.
Hmm.
Did not have clarity because I was lost and set in confusion, trying to do all of the things. I think about my early years as a teacher and then moving into school administration, as a
Yes.
whole, and having to do things by trial and error because you're like, let me, every time I was in a hurry, is when I had the most mistakes.
Hmm.
And then I thought about what didn't I know? Because in that hurry, I didn't take the necessary time to pause to make sure I had the learning to lead the way.
Yes.
And so that's how it's kind of attached to my clarity to be able to do that, and that knowing. And it's not just a book sense. It's not just that it's about a quiet sense. To get quiet and say, what is it that I really want? I ask hard questions to myself.
Yes. Wow. When I look through your career, you really emulate confidence in everything you do, right? Like some of the pictures I even showed, but I mean, it is quite uh, powerful. I guess the question I have for you about confidence in leadership is uh, many high performing leaders sometimes struggle silently with self doubt. What do
Mhm.
leaders misunderstand most about confidence and imposter syndrome?
Mm. The very first thing is that there's always going to be somebody smarter than you, prettier than you, wealthier than you, thinner than you, and all of that. So stop competing with external
Mm,
and get clarity on who you are. There's three things I call a C3 Blue: clarity, confidence, and consistency.
wow.
You'll find that as I build those other things in. But I will go back to what I spoke to about the shift theorem, and I'm going to expand that. And I want you, something you said has been the anchor for the book I'm working on now, which is confidence, unmasking the imposter within. Visualize the word confidence. Sitting right in the middle is ID,
Mm,
identity. Who are you?
wow.
In the word confidence, if you don't know who you are, how can you show up confident?
Yes.
And then if you really want to kind of dig into like the Freudian aspect, right? And we're talking about the ego, the super ID. What is that? Your core
Mm,
of who you are. And so why people struggle with it is because they're not self-aware.
wow.
They are showing up as a bastardized version of themselves because they are doing everything humanly possible to be what other people need and want them to be, instead
Hmm.
of tuning in and being still and quiet to own the core of their I am.
Wow. That is powerful. Ooh. No, I think you have to say that again. Because for also people like me who do read the Bible, this I am keeps showing up in the Old Testament. Even
Yes.
Jesus brought that up. I think you're bringing it kind of full
Absolutely.
circle. Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. And if you can either speak I am or the vice versa of am I. Too many leaders
Mm,
are doing am I instead of
yes.
saying either I am. There's the
Wow. That's the
one's a question, one's a statement.
wow.
Examine how it's showing up in your life as a leader. Am I a good parent? Am I a good mom? Am I a good leader? Am I worthy for this job?
Mm,
Am I? And so saying, I am.
yes.
And whatever
Wow.
follows, right?
That is powerful. I think Angelo Sin wrote a book about that too. I mean, it's really simple, but it can be so impactful. So, your work with executive who are the go-to person for everyone else. Who supports the leader when they are the strong one, and how should leaders build that support intentionally?
I do. I support those leaders. That's really had been the
Yes.
case. And I realized that my calling, what I was called to do, is actually to support those that are always supporting others, to
Mm,
create space for those that are always supporting others. I created the space, even in Sanctuary 44, that I always needed because I didn't have
wow.
that. When you're in a senior level leadership space, and I know you have military background, here I am as a school principal, Dodia School, the senior leader that represents the educational institution on the installation. So I'm at, our monthly meetings with the general, and I'm here doing our charrettes. I mean, I'm in those
Mm,
spaces of all of that and having to lead, from that space. And
yes.
who is your confidant? Because everything else is privileged information.
Wow.
So I said, what do you need? What do I need? And I realized I didn't have. But what I did do, again, I'm a systems thinker and I'm a strategist. So what I did is that I created my own board of confidants,
Mm,
not board of directors. That's something different. We talk about leadership and who's your
Yeah.
champ. Board of confidants. And so for some of my work that I needed to have that release, you have a licensed therapist to be
Mhm.
able to have privileged conversations with so
Yes.
that so I'm 100% proponent of therapy. And then I also have a confidant that is way outside the scope and frame of my business, my work,
Hmm.
thousands of miles away. They don't even know any of the whatever. And if I need to exhale in a venting moment, a frustrating moment, or even a
Yes.
query to say, I need you to challenge my thinking, I
Mm.
need you to challenge my perspective without knowing all the parts.
Wow.
And then they can't go deliver and do the telephone game to all the other. And then I always love code names too. But anyway, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother
Yes.
day. But I
Yes.
always made sure that I had a board of confidants,
Mm.
that someone that I could go and be vulnerable with and know that whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, they will hold me to the truth,
Yes.
okay, instead of to my trauma.
Wow, that is so powerful. I think I learned this. I believe it was either Brian Tracy or Jim Rohn. I was in my 20s having my own personal board of directors, people I go to and kind of like a mastermind and play out my ideas. But it really makes sense, not just people who kind of help you, help mentor you, help make decisions, but people who can actually keep a secret, right? People you can talk to frankly, openly, and honestly, where you don't have to wear a mask. You can just be who you are and get some frank feedback. That's really powerful. Board of confidence. I love that. Wow. That could change somebody's life for sure.
It does change someone's life. And early on, because I did a lot of work focused, especially in women in leadership roles, and when I was full time consulting, I had a program called Diva 911. And so what that meant is that if you were in a critical meltdown crisis, you can
Yeah.
text me. This is my inner circle. You can text me and you would just put Diva 911. That means whatever
Yes.
I'm doing, I need to get away and I'm going to answer that call.
Wow. That's
And
powerful.
when I answer the call, there's a couple critical questions, and I ask them, but I also used to speak to this when I used to have my staff come to talk to me, when my son came
Mhm.
to talk to me. I would say, do you need me to listen?
Mm.
Do you need me to advise?
Yes.
Or do you need me to act?
Wow.
Tell me which hat you want me to wear. Because if you just want me to listen and forget, you can spill all your guts and I'm a click and I am not going to remember, retain, repeat a word of it. You had a moment and
Hmm.
the moment, let's go ahead and move on. So I'm not going to bring it up.
Wow.
Ask me, what did I say? I don't know what you said because I wasn't paying attention. I just gave you
Yes.
space for you. And many leaders don't have
Hmm.
someone that holds space for them.
Yes.
And
Wow.
that's why I realized that when I began to shift not only how I did executive coaching, but creating spaces like Sanctuary 44, is that how do we hold space, that sacred space?
Yes. Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, becoming a first-time father, I have two daughters. I wish I knew that. I wish I was a manual how to raise girls, because generally speaking, at least initially, every time my girls come with a problem, I am the solver. Here's how you solve it. This is what you do. But like, no, Dad, I don't want you to solve anything. I just need you to listen to me. And
I just
wow, that's
absolutely,
powerful.
absolutely. And one thing too, like I said, everything I learned about being the leader that I am came from being Xavier's mom, is that I also made a commitment that I rather have relationship than to be right.
Yes. Wow.
Because relationship
Whew.
capital is the best investment you can make.
Wow.
It can get you fired, it can get you hired, it can get you funded. Relationship capital. And so
Wow.
children, our children, any other human, if you enter not only just from curiosity, but if you again become very intentional, you're very self-aware. What do I desire? Do I want this relationship? Do I want to be right? Where can I
Mm.
quiet my ego and not allow my ego to get in the way of my excellence?
Wow. You have to say that again. My goodness. Cool. I could be talking to you for hours and hours and hours. This is
No, no.
wow.
So
Amazing.
yes, pretty much relationship over being right, and
Yes.
do not allow your ego to get in the
Mm,
way of your excellence.
amazing. Wow. That's powerful. That would really, really, really preach. Because it's true, like even in marriages, many, many times I've been married since 2001. So it's been, 25 years now. Uh, but one of the reasons why we are still married is because I don't have to be right all the time. Even when I am right, I don't have to be because I'd rather have a love and the embrace of my wife than to be right and be lonely. That just doesn't make any sense. So that is so powerful and applicable in many different settings too, even at work, right? Sometimes some of the worst bosses I've ever had in my life, the problem is just their ego is completely out of control. Like, I am the boss, you do it because I am in charge. I mean, that may motivate someone, in a short term, and they're gonna do what you need them to do so they can continue to get paid. But I guarantee you they're looking for another opportunity somewhere else because nobody
Yeah.
wants to work with a jerk. But just
Mhm,
wow, that is
mhm.
amazing. Who? Okay. We have to move on. So much wisdom. Let's talk about stillness as a strategic advantage. So
Yes.
for leaders who feel they don't have time to slow down, or how do you help them see stillness not as a pause but as a performance multiplier?
That's where you can have the opportunity to get clarity around delegation.
Hmm.
So when you pause, it's not that it doesn't mean that work has to stop. It means that
Yes.
you stop and get clarity on where the work needs to go. And so then you leverage delegation and that. And one of the most powerful things any leader can say to their team is, I don't know.
Wow.
So
That
too
really
many
takes.
often we want to hurry up and have an answer. But if you say, I don't know, you know what you really just did? You not only
Yes.
empowered your team to elevate their leadership lid, right? But guess what you
Hmm.
also did? You opened the door for infinite possibility.
Wow. That's powerful. Man.
Infinite possibility. Because you said, I don't know. So guess what? You now have all of these amazing divergent thinkers
Yes.
who can continue to move past your limited viewpoint and
Hmm.
perspective. So, because you stopped to get still, you
Yes.
enacted the strategy. And so, we got delegation, empowerment, we have innovation, we have
Wow.
infinite opportunity for something better.
That is amazing. So, what does stillness then looks like in practice for leaders operating at high speed, especially in the military or high tech or
Mm,
crisis-driven environments?
Okay. So, what gets scheduled gets done. I
Yes,
know
yes,
you've heard
yes.
that
I've
before.
heard that.
What gets
Yes,
scheduled?
yes,
If you looked at my phone, if you show me your phone, I can tell you what you important to you. And I can tell
yes.
you if you have been lying to yourself and others.
Hmm.
So if I open my phone, you'll see it says 5 minutes meditative reset.
Wow.
5 minutes. Doesn't take 20,000 minutes. Five
That's
minutes scheduled
powerful.
throughout your day to be quiet, to reset. And so one of the things that I do, and this is part of my daily routine, and I encourage anyone to reach out if you want me to really kind of provide and like help you dig into that. But I started this maybe about 10 plus years ago and been going strong. Every morning, I check in with myself because
Hmm.
your day is a reflection of your night before.
Wow. You have to say that again. Like, there's so many wisdom nugget. I'm gonna have to listen to this podcast again, very slow and pause. Please say that one more time.
So your day, your morning,
Hmm.
is a reflection of your night before, your
Wow.
purpose and your preparation from the night before. Okay. And so every morning, I start with the check in.
Check in
Okay.
with yourself.
I check in with myself and I say my name.
Wow.
This is what it looks like, everybody. I'm going to give you this is exactly what it looks like. And let me backtrack a little bit. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. Is that I live my life in seasons.
Hmm.
You got to get that self-awareness I told you about, been talking about.
Yes.
What
Yes.
season are you in? Have you paused and be quiet long enough to figure that out? Are you a season of growth? Are you a season of, of stillness? Or is it a season
Mhm.
of, like, you don't have to be doing all of them. What
Yes.
season are you in? So I identify what is the one thing that I am calling, and I'm a woman of faith or believing God for more in my life right now.
Mhm.
What is that one thing? Is it harmony? Is it peace? Is it whatever? But you got to be quiet and still
Yes.
to take on that one thing. And so right now, I am in a season of elevation.
Wow.
Okay. So, what does that look like? What does it feel like? I use my five senses. What does it taste like? And I write it
Mhm.
down. I still write it on paper. Yes, I'm a techno nerd, but
Yes.
I write it down on paper. And I write it down. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? And so I begin to vision cast
Powerful.
of what that is and what that looks like. So, the last season, I was in a season of harmony. I needed harmony. I needed
Yes.
harmony. Balance is overrated. I need harmony. Some days I'm gonna work long, some days I'm gonna work short. Where am I actually creating that? And so
Hmm.
when I get up in the morning, when I'm asking and checking in, I'm saying, Deena, how do you feel? And I say it out loud. I say your name because your brain recognizes your name. This is brain science now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My name, Deena, how are you feeling? And I check
Hmm.
it. And I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you score what you're feeling like right now?
Wow.
Say I'm at a 7. Okay. I want to be at a 10 every day, but that's not realistic. I'm at a 7.
Yes.
So then I ask myself, Deena, what is one thing
Hmm.
you will commit to today to get
Yes.
closer to a 10? I didn't say get to 10. I said
Yes.
get closer. And I identify that one thing. And that one thing could be taking a walk in the park. That one
Hmm.
thing, actually making a phone call with a friend. The one thing could be watching my
Wow.
TV. That one thing could be whatever it is. It doesn't have to be financial.
Yes.
We could pause. And I identify that and I use the word I commit. So
Hmm.
we have to be very intentional about what we speak over our life
That
and our day
is
as a leader more than
powerful.
anything. So I said, I need more harmony. Okay, what does harmony look like? I've already identified it in those five senses. It looks like, you know
Yes.
what? I need to make sure that I have a light lunch today. And so I need to
Yes.
make sure that I scheduled that in. I've scheduled that 30 minutes and that I'm going to take it away from activity. So not that I'm eating
Wow.
work, but so that will do that. And so then again, I'll have my nighttime routines and do those things. And so then the next day, when I do that quick reflection on what happened before, how am I feeling? And then I
Hmm.
take it, not feeling well because did I eat? So then you can go through this whole, you
Yes.
do a body scan, a brain scan, an emotional scan, and then you commit to something. And I'm very, 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 very intentional about my
Wow.
work. So you won't hear me say, what am I sacrificing?
Yes.
Who wants to sacrifice?
Hmm.
But
Wow.
can I commit? Commit is energetic. And when you look at the word commit, because I love words, so y'all take this, write down the word
Yes.
commit. In the middle of the word commit is omit. If I commit, I will omit any barriers or anything to stop me from achieving that goal.
Wow.
That's
That
what
is
commitment is.
powerful. Okay, so many wisdom nugget. It is really, really, really powerful what you said. But I think for one thing, it really raises the self-awareness, which I believe is the beginning of emotional intelligence. You know, I'm
Mhm.
blessed. I live in Silicon Valley. Right here, our IQ intelligence question is off the chart, but EQ barely, barely registering, and that is really, really sad. But wow, this is powerful. I think that could literally change the life of somebody who's listening right now if they
Mhm.
would just put it in practice. You also reminded me another one of my mentor, Brian Tracy. I think he lives in San Diego now. He used to say, "You still want to do pen to paper because it does something. It takes something that's abstract, kind of spiritual, in the mental woo land and puts it into a physical, realm. And you can see there is like a process of transformation happening as you write those things down, and that is just so
There's a
powerful."
brain-hand connection. No, there's
Yes.
neurological. There's a brain-hand connection that is about transference. So you do write it
Wow.
down. Mhm.
That is really amazing. Man, okay. We're already running out of time. I see I'm going to be in trouble. So let me ask you about this. At least I wanted to talk a little bit about human-centered leadership in an artificial intelligence-driven world. And I'm really glad you have embraced AI. You use it all the time, and you're really having an impact with your leadership development. And I also showed a couple of clips of how you've been using AI, which is just amazing. But as artificial intelligence accelerates decision making, what leadership capability becomes more important and not less?
Are you really going to ask me that? What
Yes.
have I been talking about the whole time? What have I been
Yes.
talking about the whole time?
Yeah.
Still, get
Yes.
still. You
Yes.
got to stop because now
But what
what I
about all of the distraction we have now? TV, the internet, social media, and all of that.
that's the problem. You are
Yes.
tying into distract. That is a choice you make. It's
Hmm.
not happening to you. You are engaging
Yes.
with it. But if you
Yes.
slow down and say, "Do I need to?"
Hmm.
The S and the shift factor still self-awareness. Where am I
Yes.
right now? That harmony, where do I need to kind of create that? Where can I be very intentional? Because AI is an exoskeleton.
Hmm.
It's a superpower. So we all wanted those superpowers growing up, little magic rings, Justice League. We
Yes.
wanted, I wanted Wonder Woman's bracelets. To me, AI is a superpower to be
Hmm.
added, okay, not to replace. But two
Yes.
people are in a hurry to even deploy it that they don't look at what are the systems and things and the
Hmm.
workflows that I'm actually going to leverage AI
Yes.
to do.
Hmm.
And you're so in a hurry to adopt and put something out, you don't go back and get strategic about the steps and
Yes.
what part of it and where does it have this human add that value add piece and that human centered piece, where does it go in the workflow
Hmm.
for security, for safety, for ethical reasons, right? Where do we
Yes.
put that? Because why some people are in too much of a hurry? And so
Wow.
when we think about it, it is a partner. So I built two GPTs, right, for HR business partners.
Hmm.
And GPTs are designed to slow your thinking. And that's questions.
Yes.
It is not a search engine. It is to ask strategic questions to get you to slow down so
Hmm.
that you can deploy, go deeper if needed to mitigate risk. And it's going to challenge you to think through and expand.
Yes. Wow.
So I built a GPT that incorporates that element of stillness and strategy, and that sovereignty as a partner, an additional thinking partner. Sometimes you don't have a person. Remember, I told you I had my board of confidants, right?
Yes. Yes.
Board of thinkers, those thought partners. Well, what if I can't get a hold of them? Then what if I need to take action?
Hmm.
Built a GPT to be able to
Wow.
help partners do that. And also, since I work in global operations and supply chain, I built one for frontline leaders as well to
Yes.
deal with real things that happen on the floor and how to
Wow.
do that too.
Yeah, because I also appreciate the work you did with human resources. Because where do you see leaders making the biggest mistake right now when integrating artificial intelligence into people, talent, and culture systems?
Is not meeting people where they're at
Yes.
and trying to move too fast to put something out to keep up with others that have already built in systems. So they
Hmm.
don't take a comprehensive look at their current system.
Yes.
And they're layering AI on top of defunct and inefficient systems. And then they're
Hmm.
putting AI on top of inefficiency instead
Hmm.
of slowing down to build more efficient,
Yes.
into the process. Again, where in the workflow can you insert AI for
Hmm.
optimization? As opposed to
That's
saying, oh, we've
powerful.
been doing this the whole time. I'm just going to tell AI to do it that way. Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So the two books we are promoting right now on the podcast, one of them they can get on Amazon, right? The AZ Guide Mindful Leadership. I recommend everybody to get this. And then this one, you actually sell it on your own channel, I think
Mhm.
Squarespace, and you can actually, I believe, you're giving signed copy, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Can you tell us about this testimony? What kind of got you to
Testimony.
write this
I came
and
to that when I
curate?
was thinking about destiny and testimony,
Hmm.
because your testimony is the answer key to somebody else's test in life.
Wow. I really like the subtitle again. The journey of me on the road
On the
to
road to I.
I am powerful.
Yes. So that's
Wow.
that part. And everything I've been talking about today, and you think about, my goodness, and you mentioned it when we were talking, like in the green room, all of these different things. I said, no, no, no. It comes down to the one core thing.
Yes.
How do you get to the core of your I am?
Wow.
Whether it's confidence, your identity, how you lead, how you learn, how you love, how you parent. You've got to have that core sense. And as you are traversing on that journey, where are those opportunities along the way for
Yes.
you to actually decide, do you need to, some people do this, which is a problem. They
Mhm.
power through it. Many leaders power through it, where they
Yes.
got that idea might makes right, instead of process through it.
Wow.
And processing takes
Man.
slow. You do.
Okay, I have a big problem. I never had this problem before. I only have 5 minutes left, and I haven't
Oh
even
my
asked
gosh.
questions I really wanted to. So I know I'm gonna have to let you go at the top of the hour, but let me ask you. And do you think you can give me 10 more minutes? Maybe not.
I can.
Okay. Thank you. Because so much knowledge. We're gonna have to have you back. I know you're working on your next number one New York Times best-selling book, and we definitely want to talk about that once it is published. But because I mean, you are so fascinating. Again, you are this woman of mystery, of a Renaissance woman, I
Oh
guess is what I said
my gosh.
at
Say
the
that
beginning of the show.
again.
You've been everywhere: John Maxwell, TD Jakes, HR. I mean, just all over the place and doing well everywhere. So let me ask you this: what do you think is the secret of your success? Being so successful, reinventing yourself over and over again, and leading at the highest level possible. Why are you so successful? It's like there is nothing that you cannot do.
Yes, absolutely. I can answer this really clearly. I love me, and if you do, it's a bonus.
Wow. Let's see where that confidence comes from. It is
I
really wonderful to
love
see.
me.
Yes.
I love my imperfections. I love my
Yes.
quirkiness. I love me. And therefore, I'm able to extend that outside of me. You cannot give
Hmm.
somebody that you don't have for yourself. And so
Sure.
I have worked very long and hard and having clarity
Hmm.
about the love I had. Why? Because when I was seeking it externally,
Man.
nothing ever worked. There was no success in sight. I couldn't even see success if it was standing in front of me.
Yes. Wow. That is so powerful because so many people deal with self doubt and fear, but really
Oh, I
loving
do too.
yourself.
I do
Yeah.
too. No, I'm not saying that it went away, it got eradicated, but I have a strategy to address it.
Yes.
So, fear, I confront fear unless there's a bear on the other side.
Hmm.
Because what is fear designed to get you to do? You have to have clarity. What is fear designed to get you to do? Anybody know? To move. To move.
Hmm.
So you can't stay still when you're fearful. So
Yes.
there's not something that's negative around the fear unless you allow it to keep you stagnant. That's
Mm.
stagnant. Being stagnant is not stillness. I just want you
Yes.
to know, like, stagnant is not still. If you looked at a river or some water, it looks still on the top and there's currents
Hmm.
underneath
Yes.
flowing.
Yes.
So I don't know if you think stillness when I say that, it means you are not moving.
Wow. Powerful. No, I definitely need to have you back on the Leadership and Success podcast. You have so much wisdom. But let me ask you, what do you think is the greatest lesson in life, in leadership in general, that you have ever learned?
Is that I don't need to know everything,
Hmm.
but I need to know who knows the thing.
Wow. That is very powerful. Humble, but wow. Okay. All right. We are running out of time. I'm going to skip some of the question I normally ask. I definitely would like to know the answer, but some other time. What are you learning right now? No, as Papa John says, no. What are you learning?
I am learning how to build more complex AI agents.
Hmm.
Um,
Man, is there
and this is
anything you
exciting.
cannot do? It keeps coming back on my mind. Wow, this is impressing.
Yes, I'm building it
Impressive.
because I think it's exciting. I love that. I love that work. I love
Yes.
actually I like optimizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am a strategist by design. And
Yes.
so the way that my brain works and being able to have a partner to execute, again, I want to go further faster.
Yes.
But I can't do that on my own. How do I begin to do that and leverage that? And
Mm.
what do I need to know so that when I am presenting it to leaders or I'm talking about it with leaders, I need to know what I'm talking about. And
Yes.
so they're asking me these questions, and I'm a super nerd. I want
Mm.
to have an answer or know where they can get the answer.
Yes. Yes.
And the
Wow.
hottest thing right now is AI agents.
That's powerful. Remind me of an African proverb, right? If you want to go fast, go along. But if you want to go far, you have to do it in
Mhm.
community. So, if you could choose three people, dead, alive, or even mythical figure, if you could choose three people to have dinner with, who would you choose and why?
My great grandpa Philip, he was an
Mm.
extraordinary entrepreneur. I love the stories my grandpa, who's 96, talks about great
Wow.
grandpa Philip. He says, I remind him a lot. He said, Grandpa Philip could actually make money from a blade of grass. Um,
Amazing.
and so the way that he was, he had this tenacity and this wit. So I would love to spend some time with
Wow.
him.
So that
Um,
must mean that was like what in the early 1900 back
mhm.
then, being a black man in America. Wow.
Yes, he was a
That's
sharecropper, left Arkansas, went to Kansas, and
that's amazing.
had some other types of things kind of happen with the story. We don't have time to go into that, but I
Wow.
can talk to you about that. The other person that's alive, I can use somebody alive, correct?
Yes, yes,
I
absolutely.
absolutely love Michelle Obama.
Yeah, yeah,
She's
I think she's right there.
like
Hey.
news. I would just love to sit and just chop it up, like with
Yes.
her. I think she's an amazing example of an
Yeah.
empowered, self-aware
Yeah.
woman that is human and approachable, and
Amazing.
loves beyond, her leadership lens.
Yes.
So Michelle Obama, and then
One more.
gosh, one more. I'm trying to think. They're so different, so many.
Yeah.
Um, the other person that I'm thinking of, I don't have their name, but I can tell you what she represents.
Mm-hmm.
And I go all the way back to, our African like roots and those women leaders who
Yes.
really keep the village moving. And since I just bought a hobby farm in
Yes.
Minnesota, to talk about how do you, pull all of those things together and work hand in hand with the
Mm-hmm.
land, um, in order to really have the most abundant harvest. Because my
Wow.
goal is to be able to not just feed myself, but also be a support for my community.
Yes. Wow, that is really, really powerful. Actually, one of my direct ancestor, Queen and Zinga, sometimes it's spelled with a J, but I like the spelling with a Z, of course. But yeah, she was an incredible woman, a warrior, a princess. She led her people very well, including figuring out how to feed them. Wow, that is powerful. Okay, what is one book, not your own, that you would recommend that my audience reads?
Um, gosh,
I know there are so
gosh.
many.
Oh, if you haven't read the Let Them Theory,
Let them. Okay, my wife gave
by
it to me for Christmas. I
Let
have it
Them
here
Theory, that's
somewhere.
one of my favorite books.
Yes. Yes.
And I'd love to even go back and pull up parts of that.
Yeah.
Um, if you haven't read it, you need to read it. I
Wonderful.
recommend that, and I
I
even bought.
believe it is already on the Leadership and Success podcast digital
Yeah,
library. That's
that's
good.
one of
Good.
like my favorite. That's one of
Wow.
my favorite
Okay.
books. But I read all kinds of different books.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Is there maybe a song, a book, or a movie that would be your life's theme or anthem?
Mm. Me and my best friend have been watching classic movies these last couple of days.
Hmm.
Um,
Which one spoke to you
I
the
would
most?
say The Last Dragon. Um, because so much by Time Mac, if you know The Last Dragon from 1985, Barry Gordy, is
Hmm.
that you had this um, young man who was practicing and honing his craft and was really at the top of his game, but he still continued to always keep searching outside that it had to be another level. It had to
Hmm.
be more. It had to be more. But and he's battling and he's battling and he's being successful. He's being successful, but he still keeps saying there has to be more. I maybe am not got there yet. And
Yes.
at the very end of the movie, he comes into his own power because he sees it was there the whole time. So he had to see within in order to exert it out.
Wow, that's a powerful message. I think I was a lieutenant junior grade when one of my best commanding officer kind of taught me how to watch movies, but to look for leadership principle, not
Mhm,
just be entertained. Wow,
mhm.
that is quite powerful. Yeah, Mel Robbins, The Let Them Theory, very very good book. Okay, if you had one and only one day to live,
Hmm.
what would you have liked your final contribution to be?
Hmm. Right now, like this age with everything that I have with me, like right now,
Hmm.
um, I would like my final contribution to be a love letter to my son and all of his generation.
Wow, powerful. And if you had a magic wand and you could solve any problem at all, what is one problem you'd like to solve tomorrow morning?
Ignorance.
Yes, ignorance isn't bliss, is it?
Is
Uh,
why. I'll tell you why. And no, it's
so,
not. The reason why I put ignorance is because there's a ignorance is not just about a unknowing. It's a lack of knowing and tapping into that. Then if we weren't, then we would be able to leverage
yes.
things to feed people, right? We would be able to give to people. It's that ignorance that people have. They're making decisions that are not
Mhm.
necessarily aligned to what's, and so ignorance means ignore, right?
Yes.
Ignoring what's known and reasonable to do. So if we can get rid of that, then it would actually have a butterfly effect and then begin to
Wow.
impact some of the other.
Hmm. That is so powerful. So we are getting toward
Yes.
the end of the show. How can we add value back to you?
You are welcome to follow me on LinkedIn. Um, I'd love for you to do that. If you would love to, have, some time or consultation, maybe you're sitting there going, how do I begin to architect my next version or improved version of myself? You can go to drdeenabrown.com. You can schedule, some time there. And
Mhm.
whether it's to create like a complete roadmap, strategic roadmap of what your next is, or if it's, one of, I call it like those little power strategy sessions to help you to be able to move from where you are right this moment to get into the flow of where you desire to be, that you can do that as well. But the
Mhm.
best thing that you could do is be kind to yourself. Be
Wow.
kind to you.
Again, that's drdeenabrown.com. And LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to try one more time to see if screen share is going to work. If not, that is okay. But they should see it on their screen how to get in touch with you. Okay. Is there a question I should have asked you, Dr. Brown, that I didn't get a chance to ask? Anything you wanted to share today?
No, I think we've kind of talked about so many different things and so many versions, things that I didn't think we were going to talk about because I thought we were going to. But
Yes.
it still was very, like I said, connected. And you could always Google me. You
Yes.
maybe, oh, you didn't ask about my TED talk that I did on imposter
Oh,
syndrome.
yes.
And,
Yes.
and so
Please.
people can go check that out. If you go look on TED site, look up imposter syndrome, put my name in
Yes.
to do that. But there's, to be honest
Actually,
with you,
I
I think
published it
that,
yesterday on LinkedIn to promote this podcast. So,
yeah, yeah, like I said, I, no, I think you've
yeah.
literally have kind of touched on so many different spaces and places,
Wow.
but as you can see, I love talking about these things. It's either
Yes.
how could they add value? Tell people, invite me to talk about it with you, whether it is
Yes.
on your podcast or you have a stage or you have a group or you have an
Yes.
opportunity. I miss these opportunities to be able to have these types of conversations.
Wow. Powerful. So, what are you gonna be doing next? Because it looks like you've done everything any human being can do. It seems. What are your goals for 2026? If you can share some.
I am really, I told you I bought a hobby farm, 10 acres
Hmm.
in
That's
Minnesota.
amazing.
My goal is to build a regenerative wellness
Yes.
sanctuary. There's
Wow.
4 key pillars to Sanctuary 44. Stillness,
Hmm. Powerful.
sovereignty,
Yes.
strategy, and sacred joy.
Wow.
And so,
Actually,
yeah.
that is really powerful. I was just thinking because next week, right? I am in gonna have a conversation with someone. I probably need to put her in touch with you. Maybe you already know her. She's very young, but she's already accomplished so much. Let me see if my screen. Here we
Mm,
go. Tambourray Stevenson. Let me remove my thing there. Food
mhm,
justice visionary, cultural engineer, and scholar practitioner. She really talked about leadership with nourishment. It's really amazing. Going
mhm.
back to our roots and really, not eating junk food, but being self-sustained. And I mean, it's really life
Absolutely.
changing. It's wow. Okay, so we are at the very end. I guess one of the last questions I'm going to ask is if you could go back thinking about this incredible career you have had, if you could go back to your 17-year-old self, what advice would you have for 17-year-old Deena?
Mm. The thing that I would tell 17-year-old Dina is that you got this.
You got
You
this.
do,
Super.
you do, you do. And
Yes.
sometimes it might look like you are walking alone. Sometimes it may look insurmountable, but you
Mm,
do have everything that you need to be the greatest version of yourself
yes.
is already inside of you, like the powerful acorn.
Wow.
And so you got this.
Okay, okay. You don't need to say anymore. So let's take this plan down. Gonna be really quick. Less than a minute. No, we're gonna do what I call lightning round, no rapid fire. So don't take too long to think. Just whatever comes to your head first. What is one word that defines great leadership? One word.
Compassion,
Okay, your morning routine or practice that keeps you grounded.
morning,
Okay, a book or a quote that changed your life.
15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John Maxwell.
Yes, I have that one here. Definitely something people should read. What who inspire you the most today?
I do.
You inspire yourself. Wow, I've never had that answer. It's the confidence I'm talking about, Dr. Brown. Wow. You have to write I mean, this is just incredible. Okay. A leadership habit you refuse to compromise on.
Oh, what was that? I'm sorry.
A leadership habit you refuse to compromise on. You will do no matter what.
Kindness.
Kindness, wow. And
Kindness.
a question every leader should ask themselves frequently.
Mm. Hmm. Is this about me or is this
No,
about you? That's what they should
from
ask themselves. Is
yes.
this about me or is this about we?
Oh, powerful. Me or we.
Mm-hmm.
Very insight. Man, every answer you give, I could keep you here for another 2 hours, but
No!
we don't need to take this plan down. Okay. What did you want to be when you were a kid?
I wanted to be a fighter pilot, a jet fighter pilot for Israel
Really?
because they allow women to fly fighter planes.
But in America, we allow women to fly too, right?
Well, not then. When I was a
Oh,
kid,
okay.
only Israel allowed women to
Wow.
fly fighter jets.
Because I talked to a couple of fight jet pilot women on the podcast
Now,
last
yeah,
year. It's
now,
really
but not when I
amazing.
was
Yes.
growing up. Mm-mm.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay.
Well, race car
Yeah,
driver.
you have done a lot in your life, but I guess fighter jet is not one of them. Okay. Three adjectives describing you as a child.
Mm. Gosh, insightful,
Mm-hmm. Two more.
sensitive,
One more.
and reflective.
As an adult.
Hmm. Inspirational,
Hmm.
empowering, and transformative.
That's true. And full of confidence. Definitely. Wow. Okay. This is the very last question. We are landing this plan down finally. And thank you so much for giving me an extra 10 minutes. I really do appreciate that. There is so much wisdom coming out of you. This is incredible. Again, once you publish your next book, please come back on the show.
Okay.
What is one word that represents our shared experience today on this podcast?
Enchanting.
Well, Dr. Deena C. Brown, thank you. Thank you so much for your time, for your expertise, for your wisdom. And I really appreciate you being on the Leadership and Success podcast. Again, like I say, I think many people will listen to this over and over again and keep pausing it like every 2 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's that.
Thank you for having me.
All right. All right, everybody. That was Dr. Deena C. Brown. Like I say, there is really nothing that she hasn't done yet, except maybe being a female fighter jet pilot, but she's done everything else. So thank you so much for watching. And actually, today, my last interview will be with Dr. Shauna Springer. We're going to be talking about mental warfare and moral courage. Emotional health is very important, especially military and first responder and the police workforce. And we're going to be talking about that. I think it's a good thing we do that at the beginning of the year. And then I will also be speaking tomorrow with Colonel Chevy Cook, U.S. Army, is a mentor-in-chief. We're going to be talking about beyond control. And then next week, I'm going to be speaking with Admiral Melissa Burt, U.S. Coast Guard. She was the last JAG officer for the Coast Guard, judge, advocate, first and national security. Like I mentioned, I will also be speaking with the one and only. I am really impressed by her work, if it would show up. Tambrawe Stevenson. So we're going to be talking about nourishment and all of the work she's doing with Wanda. Really, really incredible. Another interview I want to highlight, I will be speaking with Charlie Wetzel. He's not very well known, but he's really the mind behind some of the greatest leaders like Dr. John C. Maxwell. He's really the writing companion of Dr. Maxwell. He's helped him, produce and sell hundreds and hundreds of books, millions of them. Really, the man behind the man. So I am really looking forward to that conversation, because sometimes the work that you do is very important, but it may not be praised highly. People may not even know your name, but what you do is still very important. Okay, so that is the show for today, and I want to also remind you that I started the study of the book of Proverbs. This is not religious at all. We just go through the book of Proverbs looking for ancient wisdom, right? Leadership lessons, and that's going to continue today. Yesterday, January 1st, we did Proverbs chapter 1. Today, we're going to do Proverbs chapter 2. Tomorrow, we're going to do Proverbs chapter 3. And by the end of the month, we're going to go through all 31 chapters. So the one we did yesterday, you can replay on YouTube, LinkedIn, or whatever your favorite podcast platform is. And today at 4 p.m. California time, 7 p.m. East Coast, we are going to go through Proverbs chapter 2. Again, nothing religious, just ancient wisdom, leadership lesson from the book of Proverbs. Okay, that's all I have for you today. And thanks again for watching. And I will see you again in about an hour for the last interview for today with Dr. Springer. Thank you so much for being with us. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.